Let me ask you a question. How was your night last night?
Good.
Good to hear. You guys get the work done you needed to get done for class?
Yes. Maybe.
The story.
I got the excuse. I wasn't here.
Well, how many of you have classwork for Ms. Blackwell next period?
We didn't have any work.
Yeah, we didn't have any more. Okay. What about for Ms. Lowe? Any of you have homework for her?
No, we should have had the studies.
Are you all counting your blessings for that?
No.
I know how some of you feel. I was never a science nerd myself. Okay. What I want you guys to do is to take out your grammar packets, your Aurora packets, and your independent novels, please. Just the two packets, yes. And make sure you have your books out. That's the one set, right? Yes. What's the matter with it? I'm sorry? If you don't have your book, loading, you can try one on the shelf. You guys need to remember to bring your books to class. Yes. Okay. Let's come back together. First thing you should have out in front of you is your grammar packet. You need to turn to lesson 2.3, where it says parallel structure. I'm going to go ahead and take 10 minutes to go over this. Okay. So, let's take a look at these two sentences here. Which of the sentences below do you prefer? Let's look at number 1. Anissa slipped off the stool, dropped the bowl, and spilling soup everywhere. Now, does that sentence make a whole lot of sense?
Yeah.
At first glance, it might, but what's wrong with it? Let me see here. Let's see, Kayla, can you tell us what's wrong with it? It just doesn't make sense, but let's take a look. She slipped off the stool, dropped the bowl, and spilling soup everywhere. It's a difference in verbiage, but what to do with the verbs? Think about it. Past, present, future, what am I talking about? Say that again, Kylie. Tenses, yes. This is present, this is past tense, she slipped. Past tense, she dropped. Spilling, that is the present. This doesn't gel because the past and the present tense do not belong in the same sentence when you're talking about events that are happening. Let's take a look at number 2. Anissa slipped off the stool, dropped the bowl, and spilled soup everywhere. Okay, we fixed spilling to spilled. We changed the verb tense from present to what? Past. Excellent. Good. So the second sentence has parallel structure or parallelism, which is the use of 2 or more words, phrases, or clauses that have the same grammatical structure. This sentence contains 3 past tense verbs. Using sentences with parallel structure creates balance and a pleasing rhythm in your writing. So the reason this sentence did not make sense is because it was off kilter in regards to its verb tenses. For example, let's look at this one. This one is not parallel. It says, surprised, embarrassed, and with anger, Anissa looked down. This doesn't gel because it has 2 adjectives, surprised and embarrassed, and a prepositional phrase, and with anger. The corrected sentence says surprised, embarrassed, and angry. Everything is on the same line. 3 adjectives. Anissa looked down. Again, let's take a look at the way this is written. It's exactly the same sentence, but we've gone from adjectives to nouns. With surprise, embarrassment, and anger, Anissa looked down. 3 nouns. Let's take a look at the next slide. We'll look at it in paragraph form. I need to get it to work. when you combine short sentences by using compound parts such as subjects, verbs, or modifiers, be sure that the grammatical forms are parallel. For example, the hot soup dripped from the table, it spread onto the floor, and it made a mess that was sticky. Skylar, can you tell us what's the matter with this sentence? Grammatically, technically, it makes sense, but what's the matter with its flow? See, Thomas, would you like to help her out with that? What's the matter with the flow of that sentence? This is on page 39, it's lesson 2.3.
Drip.
Okay. The hot soup dripped from the table, it spread onto the floor, and it made a mess that was sticky. Well, what I mean by flow, does it have is it smooth the way it reads, or do you have to stop, start, stop, start? Exactly, we would call that a choppy sentence. Very good. So it's choppy, we need to fix it so it flows. Dripping from the table, and as it spread onto the floor, the hot soup made a sticky mess. That sentence makes no sense. We have one participial phrase, dripping from the table, and one subordinate clause, or in other words, something that can stand on its own as a complete sentence. As it spread onto the floor, the hot soup made a sticky mess. We need to fix that. Dripping from the table and spreading onto the floor, the hot soup made a sticky mess. So we made that two participial phrases. Parallel elements may appear anywhere in a sentence or even throughout an entire paragraph. So let's take a look at the paragraph itself. Okay. Matthew Alexander Henson was born in 1866 into a United States of two worlds, a white world and a black world. Matt Henson was black. Robert E. Perry, the man he assisted for 22 years, was white. In the Arctic, they ate from the same chunk of frozen walrus. In the United States, they did not sit at the same table or even in the same room. In the Arctic, they slept in the same igloo. In the United States, Henson couldn't enter the same hotel as Perry. In the Arctic, they worked side by side, often close to death. In the United States, Henson was only Perry's faithful colored servant. Now, taking a look at this paragraph, what do you notice about the way sentences 4, 5, and 6 are constructed? What word did they all begin with? In, yes. In the Arctic and in where? Where else? In the Arctic, in the United States. That is the structure that is used throughout the paragraph. It's parallel form. It's used in those same sentences over again. It helps to give these sentences a sense of unity. The whole paragraph makes sense because we are constantly doing what in the Arctic and in the United States. What text structure does this remind you of? We got one country on one hand and one country on the other hand. What are we doing? Yes, compare and contrast. It's comparing how his relationship is with his master in the Arctic and versus how it is in the United States. Yes, that also lends it a sense of unity. Very good. Okay, let's go over these three first. First question. The librarian always suggests paper topics and is answering our questions. How are we going to fix this? Let me see here. How are we going to, Julian, how are we going to fix this?
We're number 1 right now.
Number 1, yes. The librarian always suggests paper topics and is answering our questions. How would you fix it? Think about it. Always suggests and is answering. We've got suggests here and is answering. How are we going to fix this? See. Okay.
Daniel. Yeah, Daniel.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Daniel, how would you fix it? Okay. Well, think about this. Remember what we said about verb tenses? She always suggests. What tense is this?
Present.
The present, yes. And is answering our questions. This kind of tense you probably would not have heard of, is answering. This is the present perfect, is what it's called. So, which tense do we need to put in to make it right? We need to make it the present tense. So we have always suggest being the operative word. How will we change is answering to gel with this?
Answers.
Answers, yes. Answers our questions. Okay. Number 2, choosing a topic takes time. It also involves patience. Research is also required. Think about the sentence we just went over. Does this one have a flow, or does it stop, start, stop, start? It stops, start, stop, start. So, how are we going to make this a fluid sentence? Logan, how would we fix it? Come on, give it a shot.
Come on, Logan. That's it.
I didn't know the question wrong.
We are on question number 2. Let's see, Jamir, would you like to help him out? Question number 2.
Choosing also involving patience.
We're getting there, Kylie.
Choosing a topic takes time and it also involves patience. And then semicolon, research is also required.
We could fix it that way. Choosing a topic takes time and involves patience. Semicolon, research is also required. Okay. So how are we going to fix it so it involves the use of commas instead of a semicolon? Choosing a topic takes time. Time what?
Comma and.
Comma.
And
Also involved.
Choosing a topic takes time, comma what? Simran?
I just said what's wrong with you.
Keep going, you have
I
it.
said also or and, then you told me what's wrong.
And involves patience, comma, what else?
Research.
What would never change?
However, we need to cut out some things. It also involves cutting out content. So, if I were to cut out this and just add a comma, choosing a topic takes time, patience, and research, yes. Good. So, number 3, for those of you who might be lost, we are on question number 3 right now. Carla's topic may come from our textbook or coming from a recent news article. So, we have this here, may come from, think about your verb tense. This is, it's still present, it may come from, we're talking present. Or coming, which tense is this? Like we're saying something is coming.
Future.
It's the future. So, which tense here do we want to change it to make it fit?
Comma.
Oh, you
The
got it.
present tense. It's alright.
Yeah.
We need to change it to the present tense, so we obviously need to change this. How are we going to change coming in the future tense to the present tense?
King.
May come from our textbook or
Comes.
comes from a recent news article. Or we could just eliminate this altogether. We could just eliminate coming. Carla's topic may come from our textbook or from a recent news article. We can just cut out the coming altogether. Alright. What I want you guys to do now, we were going to go over this in small group in the next 4 questions. However, due to our time constraints, I think what I'm going to do is assign this to you for homework. These 4 questions. Because we need to move on with this lesson. You guys have a formative today. And we still need to go over your homework from last night. So, go ahead and write that down. You have questions 4 through 7 for homework. Now go ahead and have your Aurora packets out in front of you. You should be question number 3 from last night. So, question number 3, we're gonna go over this. Alright, question 3, what evidence supports the claim that a flying saucer flew over O'Hare International Airport? And you were also to tell us which piece of evidence is the strongest, which one was the most relevant to your answer. Let me see, I need to call on somebody who had this question. Wendy, what did you have? Go ahead, clear out. Come on, I know you had an answer. Okay, let me see. Daniel.